Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
People make the world go
And a pleasant good day to all. And let me also take the time to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Me and myself and Mr. Chesley Hamilton, who's here with us today, greeted each other this morning with a hearty Happy New Year, all the best for the new year. Having said, we have the man here with us, and I'm going to go straight to him. Good morning, Mr. Chesley Hamilton. There's so much on the plate. There's so much to talk to. I'm going to let you put your hand in the basket and pick what you want to speak about, and go right ahead.
Good morning. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the sight of the Most High, Jah, Allah, and all the supreme beings that exist for 2026. I just wish everyone success, prosperity, and bountiful blessings and joy. I want to wish somebody happy 80th birthday. There is a fine lady in Brooklyn, New York, by the name of Clemencius Steinbergen. Happens to be the mother of my wife. I want to wish her happy 80th birthday today. So the Bible says that each person gets 3 scores and 10, and if you are strong, you get an extra 10. So she obviously is strong and going at 4 scores.
Yeah.
So I want to wish her,
And we at WinFM also do the same. Wish
yeah.
all the best.
Now, Quinn,
Yes.
what do we have? We have the year
up to
of
you.
2025 in review. We have 2026 starting with a bang. Imperialism on the march. Different things going on. As we would say in local parlance, all kind of things are going
Yeah.
on.
Accepting others and exempting those from right here in our
Right,
region.
then you have our government signing MOUs and then sneaking in like a quarterback sneak to give you, and you have to unpack that, and the stuff from last year, whether it's SSG or other things. We have had in my own little profession, we have had a kind of a swap of the judges. The judge from St. Kitts moved to Nevis, and the judge from Nevis have come down to St. Kitts to deal with the criminal jurisdiction. I would say some of it is positive, and I appreciate that. And we look forward to moving forward. But in the scope of things, you know, we have things to be concerned about. I know the police held a press conference to say that they're doing certain things well, and traffic laws and the traffic situation is at a certain point. But what I really want to speak about is the overall state of the criminal justice system and what's going on there. I have a lot to be a concern about. I have a lot to be concerned about when the Prime Minister's office is under investigation, when the DPP's office is under investigation, when the executive, many people in the executive is charged with corruption. I have lots to be concerned about. Not that I'm holier than thou, but we have to be mindful when we are doing these things and how it affects us as a country. And these are the things that bothers me, because when the country gets a bloody nose, we can run, dodge, and hide. Some of these things can be dealt with more reasonableness and more what I will call exercising of discretion. No one can justify for me that when a magistrate did not fill out a form, that somebody couldn't give a quiet word and have it done, or get it done, but to charge that person and have them hauled before the court. I got problems with things like that. And say, oh, the law is the law is the law. BS. We know that there's a lot of discretion. We know there's a lot of reasonableness in the law in terms of who get charged, how they get charged, and the exercise of that discretion is part of the process. And therefore, I think that a lot of reasonable head, but somehow it seems that driven by statistics and driven by certain indicators of success, seems to be carrying the day, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. It affects the national narrative adversely, and I don't like it. Right now, we have high officials being charged with and being investigated.
Investigated by whom?
Well, when you're investigated, you're either investigated by the Integrity Commission, you're investigated by the police, or the DPP has something to be charging you and say that there's further investigation going on. So when I speak about the criminal justice system, the DPP's office is in charge of all criminal matters. They can continue in any criminal matter. So when I speak about it, that's where I am talking about it from.
Okay.
And whether the police is investigating and the DPP's office is prosecuting, it's all part of the same criminal justice system. And I'm basically saying I have difficulties when it comes to all of that. Now, I remember one time we had a situation in St. Kitts where the supervisor of elections' son was being charged with a felony, and the head of the Electoral Commission was representing that person. And I felt that that was an unholy thing to be doing in terms of a democracy.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing illegal about it, but I just think it was not ethically right.
But you see, Mr. Chesley, when it comes to the legal stuff, I have to listen to you. That's one of the things I'm completely weak on.
Yeah.
Unless it's something
But
to do with history.
when I speak about this thing, I tend to bring it down to, really try to bring it down to a basic level.
Yeah.
That I could have a conversation with you. I don't try to speak in jargon and so on.
Yeah.
And that is why I give that example. Well, right now, we have similar things happening where people who are part of quasi-judicial, and that phrase means independent bodies,
Yes.
you know, commissions and so on, are being charged with offenses. You have permanent secretaries being charged. You have, I mean, when you have that sort of, and they're on the job, meaning they're not suspended, they're getting full pay. There are things like that that are happening. If you have these people on the job, then discretion could have been, let's say, listen to me, let us investigate some more. Let us make sure that they can correct, you know, what needs to be. Let us exercise the discretion that you have, rather than have these people with these things over their head. And then you say they're still on the job being paid. You ain't give them no suspension, you ain't send them home. When an ordinary little police officer gets charged, he gets sent home on half pay. Half pay. And he can't pay his mortgage or her mortgage.
But answer me this, because I'm going to lean towards, because
Yeah.
you had a background in as a police before you
Yeah.
went into law. Isn't it, and I'm asking a question so you could correct me if possible, isn't one of the reasons why they would move someone from a position after they have been put on the investigation is that that person can be removed from tampering with anything in their purview, in their proximity and so forth? For instance, if you're going to charge me as an engineer in WinFM, you're going to leave me in WinFM where I could do things to change, you know, things to do with engineering?
But that is what is happening. The people who are charged, and they're still on the job. That's why I would have said, no, do not charge Quint. Let us look at this matter, resolve it before we charge Quint.
Yes, yeah.
Let us deal with it. Let us mediate.
Yeah.
Understand? Rather than charge, because the minute we charge Quint, we have to suspend.
That's it.
You know, whether we suspend him with pay or half pay. But you charging people that's still on the job. You understand? It is really, so therefore, what I'm saying is that there is no reasonableness at work within this government.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because you can't be charging officials just for the sake of charging them to say that you're doing your job. When sometimes the infraction is something that what is the harm?
Yeah.
What is the harm? Where is the injury? What mischief are you really correcting? That the fact that the person didn't fill out the form? Man, look, I am a licensed firearm holder. So, if, for instance, I was out of the country and didn't get back in by this January 31st, you don't wait until as soon as I reach on the airport to buy your license, you're going to and charge me.
Yeah.
You say, Chesley, Listen to me. We know you're not thing, but as soon as you get back on island, come to and
Yeah.
let us get this thing
Yeah.
going. You send a little message to me. You say, "Boy, I seriously forget, and I didn't expect to stay out of the country this long."
Yeah.
I mean, you have something called discretion.
Yeah.
You have something called discretion, and that is all I'm asking. I'm not asking that. Oh, well, how you charge me and you're in charge of that person? You know, you give extend your discretion and your reasonableness.
Yeah.
If the person is still delinquent after you have then put things in place where, listen to me, we put things on the air. We gave you a phone call. We wrote to you, and you're still not complying.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you deserve to be taken before the court.
Yeah, most definitely. We have a caller. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Quinn. And good morning to Mr. Hamilton.
Morning.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
we the poor people on the road. Because we had a big discussion in the focus and down the terminal this
All right.
morning.
Yes, sir.
Last night by the focus. We want you to explain $2,700 million with no interest free to the people of Fiji there. And when me jam down go to National Bank for loan, I have to pay interest. Why that still happening in a modern society? Is Momo we lead us, them Momo? And they playing game with us. And they like fun. And they like treat white people good. Have a good morning, everybody. And we listen. We want you to address that.
Well,
Well, you can take it or leave it. It's up to your discretion, Mr. Hamilton.
I don't like to discuss things that I don't have the paperwork in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't like to discuss things where I don't have the paper in front of me. I don't have the disclosure. I don't like to discuss things in a vacuum or in
isolation.
in isolation. I don't like to speculate nor assume. If I have documentation in front of me, then I can seriously comment. And let me say this. We have the issue of the MOU from the government, and I took the time to
Go through it.
go through and get the Prime Minister's opening statement, and I've played it back a number of times. It's about 40 minutes long. And I've listened to it. That is something I can comment on. The SSG legislation is something that I took the time to read and took the time to download and put it in a certain perspective.
Yeah.
I tend to speak to it in the context of the Constitution and what this enclave / base, reservation, gated community, whatever you want to call it, will cause within the jurisdiction of the island of Nevis. And I said the island of Nevis because they're now saying that gated communities / these SSZs development that deals with land can be anywhere. I also let people know that you could have something called enterprise zones.
Yeah.
And what is an enterprise zone? You could make the industrial site an enterprise zone.
They call them economic zones.
Yeah, economic zone, enterprise zone,
Yeah.
same thing. Where goods from, let's say, the United States, Canada, or Mexico, or so on, can come to St. Kitts. You do something to it, which you move it from one stage to the next. There is some value added, but when it goes back, it doesn't go back as something that you pay duty on. It came in as a U.S. product and it leaves the island as a U.S. product because it never really entered St. Kitts Nevis because that enterprise zone is zoned as part of, let's say, a treaty. Like NAFTA is zoned with the territory that it's coming from. All we do, we provide cheap labor here and send it back with the value added, and therefore we get good work here, we get technical skills and transfer of technology, and they get they can keep the cost down on that product.
Yeah.
There are some of those. For instance, in Haiti, there is such a zone where they make the baseballs.
Yes.
The way they do other things. And as all the turmoil you're hearing in Haiti, you never hear that baseball has a disruption because they can't get enough baseball. All the foul balls
That
you
is
see
why- that's
that
one-
people can keep.
That's one of the reason why they want to keep Haiti poor.
Right, you never hear, they probably take about 15 cents to produce a baseball, but they sell it at 60, $15,
Yeah.
But I'm just showing you Major League benefit from that sort of cheap labor, and the 1% of Haiti, where the cruise ship goes, where these things are, is never disrupted in any which way, and that's an enterprise zone.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the things like that. So I just put it in certain context of discussion, and in terms of development and our constitution and how those things will affect the country, affect the jurisdiction. And all I ask for, as Chesley would always tell you, I ask for universality. If you're going to give them incentive like that, what about me, the average man who's investing and hiring 5, 6, 7, 10 people? What is there for me? How come I can't get some relief? How come I can't get some tax break, some duty free? How come I can't get those things? So the average person in Charlestown, the average person on the island of Nevis will like that kind of package so that they can compete.
I'm glad you touched that, because let's for instance, what Jam Down was saying, even though you might not have the details and so forth, what about the aspect, if it is so, because we're not sure, maybe that's why you won't really delve into it. What about the aspect of no interest to an entity that has been here for some while, is supposed to be successful as far as we understood, and now you're giving them a bailout in a sense, and no interest? What about the no interest? Because they don't give us those luxuries, as you were just saying.
Look, I always have the problem. I remember having a conversation with Kishu. God bless his soul. Kishu told me, listen to me. I told the government, give me 2-3 cane fields. Let me get some people to plant carrots, tomatoes, and so on to provide to the local market. And they said no. So Rams importing these things. Kishu just wanted to be able to put people to work and have these things provided locally. And the government said, after they said no.
And that is what we want, private enterprise being a part of agriculture.
Right. The issue is, if Horsford's TDC, Builders Paradise then and so on came together and said, listen to me, give us a few cane fields. We want to do some development, housing development. We're going to put some middle-income homes. You give us the land, we'll put in the infrastructure, we'll do, and we'll provide that for the market. You say, no, they don't have enough money. They're too rich. But you are going to be giving others who come in, want to borrow money, to do something similar.
It doesn't make sense.
When these people here, who are the shareholders of TDC? Who are the shareholders? These are people here.
Here, our own indigenous.
Our own people. But you don't want to enrich them with cheers. National Bank is going to benefit this. You don't want to say, listen to me. We got this. And I used to tell people, my opposition to Denzel Douglas is that he treats foreigners better than he treats locals.
Yeah.
I have no other major fundamental difference with Denzel.
Push the mic away a bit away from you, because
I had no big further policy difference with Denzel other than that.
Yeah.
I used to say that if Denzel Douglas will just give locals the same
opportunity.
Yeah. I will sing his praises. But I didn't see that. I used to say the friends, family, and foreigners government. The 3 Fs.
We have a caller. Hello, caller.
This is Jam Down again.
Yes, jam down.
This is the part 2 question.
Yes.
I want to ask you all if you think it's right for our small brothers and in our to want a loan to go extend the airport in Nevis, and the federal government saying to them, go National Bank to take a loan to pay interest. Well, hear me, jam down, manners, Mr. Hamilton and Quinn. I duly support Nevis to go for secession. Have a good morning.
You know, I can't. Before you, I kind of. He said it yesterday, I think, and this is. I cringe when people do this. You get so passionate that you say, this is one of your children, right? And you get so passionate that you say, okay, my child is over there and his father isn't treating him good, so let him go. I mean, nonsense. I've said it. You cannot let passion override rationale. Go ahead.
I hear what Jam Down is saying. But again, in the last election, I campaigned that you can't tax your best brains and your best minds at 9, 10, 11, and 12%. Development Bank was giving student loan. This government bring it down to 5%. I believe that if you're paying housing and social services levy, then you could afford to say, well, the prime rate is 4.75. You could give 1% below prime loans to students because they are part of that social development. They are part of that social and economic development. So yes, you bring it down to 5% because you still want to make a profit. But I am saying when people are coming back to contribute to social development and you're paying housing and social development levy, yeah, you can get concessionary loans.
Yeah.
So I am answering it that broadly to answer this thing for Jam Down.
Yes.
If the Nevis Island Administration needs $50 million to develop the airport for economic activity, why should they be going for a loan above prime? There must be development loans within what we have.
Yeah.
There must be a way for you to do it. I often come here and say that Dr. Simmons lost an election with his best housing and development program called Habitat 10,000, where he said he will give loans, he will borrow money from Social Security, but that money is to pay the interest and the down payment for housing. So if if you're qualified for, let's say, a $250,000 house based on your salary, you know that the 10% down will be paid, and at the back end your interest will be paid. So Quint, you may only have to pay $750 or $1,000 a month based on the principal.
Yeah.
And you can see that principal coming down every month.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about the interest and you don't have to worry about the down payment.
And here's the key factor for that is that you want to encourage housing and development.
But not only that, Quint, when you do that now, Quint is free now to hire his own carpenter, his own mason, his own electrician, his own tiler, his own painter. You see how many different people going to make money from your $250,000?
That is why I said it will encourage development and infrastructure.
Right. So the multiplier effect is there.
Yeah.
Just from your $250,000. Now think about the number of persons that will make money from the $50 million that the government borrowed to do run a program like that.
Yes.
You see? But then every time the government want to micromanage the housing thing, they want to decide who, and they want to decide that we only giving these contractors and they're controlling the money. I always say when government does anything, it's like taking money out of one pocket and put it in the other pocket. There is no multiplier effect.
Yeah.
But if you are allowed to then go out and Quint alone is providing profit and a multiplier effect to 5 different families. The contractor, his subcontractors, the iron and steel man, the painter, see how many people just for you alone.
That's it. Yesterday, the good doctor who deals with environment and forestry, he made a statement, and I couldn't continue along the vein I wanted to with him because he was speaking to a specific point. But I said to him, because he said that if you want to cut down a tree or prune a tree on your property, you have to go to them and they would give you permission. And I told him that was a bit of nonsense because where does it end? This is my property. And then he went further to say that the law says that even though it is your property, you can't take dirt out of your land and take it anywhere else because you could be prosecuted for that because the land belongs to the crown, right? Then you understand what I'm saying?
Keep going. You know the phrase, the law is an ass? Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
The law, it belongs to the crown. And then he says, well, look, so even though you have your tree on your land, because the land belongs to the crown, when you want to prune it and so forth, you have to come to us to get permission. And you know what I was thinking, Chesley? All of our foolish leaders in the Caribbean, and it's to tie into what the point you just made about the housing and Kennedy Simmons, all of our foolish leaders in the Caribbean cannot seem to grasp that these laws were put there to keep us poor, and now they are leaders who look like us. They're continuing keeping themselves and us poor.
That is why when the land, you didn't pay your tax, the land is cheats to the crown.
Yes.
Because you ain't pay the crown. And we are keeping these laws on the book because when you are in quote-unquote power, you feel that you are large and in charge.
Yeah.
And we need to and change it to empower the people rather than empowering the crown.
I mean, when he said that, I was thinking to myself, to come back to the point that you made, if you would stop putting these things where your people, your own indigenous people, have to be paying all these tax over and over, and if they don't, if they miss, it reverts back to the crown. What about if you said, okay, you buy your land, it is your land. The money that the person, to strengthen the point you were making, the money that the person would be paying every year so that they have to keep the land that they should already own, they could now invest that money. But how come our leaders can't see these things?
The multiplier effect of growing the economy and having more money out there. I tend to hear some labor leaders talk about, PAM abolish income tax, and they, and they have all these other taxes, and there's regressive tax and progressive tax and all kind of things. But none of them would bring back income tax. None of them could. They say we're going to bring back income tax. I mean, why they don't stop the hypocrisy?
Why?
You know and you understand that giving people more money to spend create a multiplier effect in the economy, and therefore you could then get residual tax at the back end, and that is how the government has shifted and is able to provide many things. You brought in social services levy, then you add housing and social services levy. Well, what if you want to make it housing, social service, and let's call another thing, education levy or whatever, and you say, listen to me, on the back end, rather than have 17%, we're going to go to 20% because we are going to provide this health care, we're going to provide this, we're going to provide that. Who is going to say no? Who is going to say no? But they want to step up and lead. Governments are lazy. When in 1980 we were working 7 days a week, and then Simmons government said, listen to me, we went down with working, civil servants went down with working on Saturdays because you had a Thursday half day. So we're going to work 5 days during the week, you're going to that. We're going to feed in your children for hot meals. We're going to abolish personal income tax. We're going to give women certain leaves. and pregnancy leave and so on. And they ran on that platform and won. And you had economic change. I remember a police officer salary moved from, constable moved from $700 in 1983-84 to by before 10 years later, 1994, a police officer was making over $2,000.
Yeah, that's it.
You see the growth in that income
That's
and
what
that
I'm
salary.
saying.
You can't see a similar change in a 10-year period of anybody's salary of more than $1,000 in saying it since then.
We have a caller. Hello, caller.
Good day to everybody, and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, by the gospel only, through faith only, according to the word of God only. And also, I've said in the past as well, we need to become a republic and get out the British Commonwealth, and the quicker we do that, I believe at least in one aspect, it will be better for us. At least in one aspect, I believe. Now, concerning what is being said here, and throughout the week and that sort of stuff, well, mention was made that, well, first of all, as you all know, I would only sell for doing things the biblical way. First of all, mention was made on throughout the week programs, and somewhat even today, that the Prime Minister, the Premier of Nevis, Bentley, said that people should come back home and that sort of stuff, to invest and that sort of stuff here in the Federation, and I guess maybe he meant primarily in Nevis. Now, first of all, I do believe, yes, it'd be very good if people come back here to live, to invest and that sort of stuff. I am all for that. But the thing is that these things doesn't come about by waving a magic wand. These things come about by providing incentives to attract people, including your own, back to the country. We are not very business friendly. I mean, people complain how hard it is to start up a business and getting your business license and all that sort of stuff. I remember a number of months last year, I quoted from a ranking, a world ranking of 190 countries when it comes to business friendliness, and we were ranked somewhere around 130, which is not good. I mean, even we own business people, they want to make profit when they go in business, and they don't want to deal with this ton load of red tape and rigmarole and that sort of stuff to start up businesses, to continue businesses and that sort. And that is why a lot of businesses are continually failing in the Federation. You know, but what the government have to learn, and we on the whole have to learn, is that the more, really and truly, the more the government is doing and that sort of stuff, is the more they're going to have to eventually, sooner or later, even raise taxes and government fees more, which would even do far more damage to the economy, businesses, employment, and that sort of stuff. And these are lessons we need to learn.
Greg,
Hello?
you opened a bank account recently?
No, not recently, no.
You know how difficult it is to get a bank account open nowadays?
I would imagine.
But let me interject here. Mr. Chesley, there's a reason for that, you know. The world is trying to go. This is why we have to find a way. The world, you see what Trump is doing? Hopefully, it opens the eyes of the world that this hegemony has got to end. Because if we don't do that, the world is pushing us towards what they call it, one world order, that kind of stuff, because their intention is to discourage banking in terms of you having cash money and that kind of stuff. You see what is happening, what they're trying to impose in the U.S., I mean in the U.K., and the U.K. people rose up against it. If I'm not mistaken, recently the U.S. went into this thing with no cash. But this is a very deadly road they want to put us down. The poor will die, and the rich will just get richer, because they want to, rather than having transaction where you go to a bank and you put your money and you come at the end of the month and so on and so forth. They want to have everything in one thing where everything is done by them
digitally.
Yeah.
The digital ID in the US in the UK you're talking about?
Yes. and then they want it to go to the point where you have to put chip, and next thing even your dog is going to have a chip. They want to be able to know exactly where you are, what you're doing, and no privacy. We better be careful what we're heading down, you know.
And with AI,
Quint.
that is even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quint and Chesley. Just I think it was last night or yesterday, I was listening to a program on YouTube, and the person was saying, I think it was Peter Schiff, a fellow. He's American, but he lives in Puerto Rico, but he's a big businessman in Puerto Rico, and that done business in I think St. Vincent and other places in the Caribbean and around the world. And he said. There's a lot of financial institutions around the world that really would prefer not to deal with Americans in opening accounts and stuff for them. Because, the American government going to come down with their nonsense, I guess, and maybe, they want to investigate this, want to look into your businesses and that sort of stuff. So he said unless maybe use a long time business person in the island or country or wherever, a lot of institutions around the world would really prefer not to open accounts for Americans. Because, like I said, the harassment from the American government that you end up getting because of their citizens' accounts with you. People
think that this we see happening with Venezuela and talking about Iceland, and so you think these people don't know what they're doing? There is intent behind that. They're panicking because they see we're moving towards a multi-purpose geographical world, and they don't want that. The West still wants to be able to have a monopoly on worldwide commerce. And our leaders in the Caribbean and in Africa should be aware of this and know how we're going to deal with this. Otherwise, there's no hope for us, We cannot just sit down here when the United States come and says, well, we're going to give you refugees and we're going to do this. And we take it because what we're doing is we're sending a message to them, okay, they're ripe for whatever we're going to implement next. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Chesley?
Well, the message given, there's no real rationale given as to why we are accepting third-party refugees from the United States, and everybody said we have no choice, and I say, really? We have no choice. Okay, they didn't give Trinidad that ultimatum. Mm-hmm. They didn't give other places that ultimatum. So how come they have a choice and you didn't have a choice? It means something. Whether you did something by commission or omission.
Yes.
You did not negotiate in the way that you were supposed to. I mean, Washington is run by lobbyists. You always hear that.
Yes.
Washington run by the lobbyists. Who is lobbying on our behalf in Washington? That's the big question. Because if you have your lobbyists in Washington and you're paying the right price and the right person, you're going to be exempted.
Great.
Because Washington right now, it's transactional.
Hold a second.
Go ahead.
Let Greg finish his point.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Now, even with the Venezuela issue, now, I believe oil is part of the reason, oil and the minerals,
okay,
and the natural resources that Venezuela have. I believe that they are part of the reason why Trump did what he did, okay? But I do not believe they are the main reason. And I've listened to somebody else again, a lady on TikTok. And to me, I do not fully agree with her, but in part, I agree with her. I believe that the main reason why Trump did what he did in Venezuela is to further the idea and the concept of being unaccountable and doing what you feel like whatever you want to do. Oil, I think, was mostly a scapegoat and for that. But like I said, I believe it's a part of reason, but it was more, I think it was more scapegoat because I think Trump wanted to set a precedence. Well, even further, because it is already there, but even further that Trump does not need any permission from Congress to do anything, and that the American executive branch can do as it feels like. And maybe as Quint has said in the past, maybe he probably wanted to or something like that. So he probably setting the stage for all that to acquire the power, to accumulate the power unto himself. That maybe he can decide, well, he ain't coming out and all that sort of stuff. So I totally agree with the lady that I think the oil issue was just, yes, a part of it, but more a scapegoat, and is really power and unaccountability and that sort of stuff that Trump is really aiming for as the primary reason for why he did what he did to Venezuela. And now he wants, as you see, he wants to use that same thing, establish it so he could use it for Greenland, Cuba, and wherever else around the world.
Yeah, okay.
And lastly, let me say lastly, we are not helpless. If we turn to obedience to the Bible, via biblical repentance and obeying the Bible, Christ will fight our battles for us, and he's much bigger than America and the whole world, and Christ will always win, and he cannot lose. Our hope should be in Christ and in no one else or anything else. Thank you. God bless you all.
Yeah. I just want to let you know, perhaps you should have a look at the movie Wag the Dog, and where it is said in that movie that whenever a U.S. president is in trouble domestically, they find something in the foreign affairs and external affairs to do to take the country's mind off of whatever is going wrong domestically and put it into patriotism, the military complex, and something in foreign affairs. So have a good look at the movie Wag the Dog, and you will see how this is playing out, especially in light of the Epstein files.
Yeah, let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean. Keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Come, build Build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
People make the world go
And we're back. The time is 10:46. Before I go back to Mr. Chesley Hamilton, I want to kind of stretch what we were saying about, speaking about what he spoke about when he spoke about Pam and Dr. Kennedy Simmons and his way of boosting the economy by empowering the local people. Mr. Chesley Hamilton, for the life of me, I cannot understand why our Caribbean leaders cannot wake up and see that one of the main ways to encourage foreign investment is to develop your own people. If you develop your own people, your internal environment looks good. It looks good for investment. So any external person would want to come because they realize these people, this is not an economy that is impoverished and steeped in crime and that kind of stuff and so on and so forth. I'm gonna let me just move that off a bit there. Yeah, it's steeped in crime. It is not steeped in crime, and so it is a good environment for investment. You cannot be. They have the cart in front of the horse. You must develop your internal infrastructure and your people to a level where people feel, well, we can come there and develop and enhance that because it shows potential. But they want to keep their people poor, keep you struggling, barely being able to deal with your infrastructure, and you think that you're gonna get investors to come, and investors gonna realize you're in an impoverished state and they're gonna come to exploit.
I totally agree with you. I was listening to a song just before I came to the office called, penned by Crusader, called There Is No El Dorado Out There.
Yeah, I know the song.
And, and as he was going through it, I what came to my mind, how could I improve those lyrics? Mm-hmm. And when he said, get a piece of this rock, I would have just added the word, the piece of this golden rock. Mm-hmm. Because you're talking about El Dorado, you're talking about gold. And at the time when that was penned, I'm certain that the airport was called Golden Rock.
Yes.
And that's the little bit of editing I would have done to that song to even make it a little bit more profound.
Yeah.
Because you're going out there to look for gold. There's no golden city. There's no street paved with gold. But you know that if you come here, you're going to touch down on Golden Rock.
Yeah. That's marketing there right there.
And that would have been my way of just touching, editing one line in that song to make it even a little bit more profound. And that's how I deal with lyrics. But I said that to say this. I mean, people come here to look for gold.
That's it.
People come here to look for opportunity.
That's it.
And they basically make the calculation, listen to me, I could put in this amount of investment. The gentleman who came here to teach woodwork, he left the teaching, went and come back, borrowed money from the National Bank, opened a boatyard, began to make catamarans. well, and made money.
Yeah.
And I'm simply saying, not that there wasn't local boat builders, but how could we have moved that into a boat industry, a boat building industry? We think it is known for the building and exporting of these sort of things. We never say, let's take it the next step further, plug it into our college, then the college of our technical college, plug it in, see how we can move that. Then we have in our marina and so on, the dry dock, the repairs, all of that thing. We never said, how could we have vertical integration in what we are doing?
Yeah.
And how could we get horizontal integration
Because they have
in our industry?
Because they do not look long term. You know, Mr. Chesley, you've been in politics for so long, and I've been an observer, and I remember, and I told my children, I said, well, it's up to you whether you want to vote or not, but I can tell you my generation made one of the most profound changes in the history of St. Kitts Nevis, because it is my generation, including me myself, who went and for the first time moved away from everything being labor in this place. You understand? We went and changed. And from the time we changed, say what you want. Labor can say all that they want. From the time we changed from labor, we saw St. Kitts Nevis moving in an upward trajectory. And that is why in the recent past you find other people from other islands in our proximity came here. Because as you were saying, Mr. Chesley Hamilton, there was gold here. Gold in the way of potential to invest, to get a job, to make money, and so on and so forth. But what about carrying it forward?
I just show you about the civil service and moving it from working, 6 days to 5 days, school meals. There was all the thing about
and what about women? Women could
women
get
rights.
Yes.
Even having our own national bank, the indigenous bank. There are so many different little things that we have done and started in the small Twin Island Federation that we have taken further. There are certain little cultural things. I mean, a guy from Canary called Ainan started something over Frigate Bay, which is now grown into a big multi-million-dollar business called the Strip.
Yeah.
All right? And the young man started it out with a cooler and out the back of his vehicle. He has never said, nobody ever said, oh, let's just give him an order of merit or something for entrepreneurship because, he's a skinny Rasta man from Canary. Okay? But these are my heroes.
Yeah, well, be careful how you speak about him because he's a first cousin of mine.
Don't worry, he's my classmate. I only got to go across there and say classmate and you hear me back. We went boys' school together. We went boys' school together back in the day when he had to walk from Canary to boys' school.
You understand?
You understand? And then go George Street for lunch. And you buy a piece of bread and a piece of cheese and you break the cheese and you spread it with your thumb. And probably a bottle of Marby.
Yeah.
That is how we go up. So, when I go there, he doesn't want me to pay, but I can say, no, I come to support your business.
Yeah.
I ain't come to eat it down. I come to pay.
That's it.
You understand? That is how him and I get along. I'm basically saying, these are the people I recognize as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
These are the people who we need to give awards. I used to tell people Calypso Reggie as an entrepreneur, as a town crier.
You understand?
As a town crier. A 4-cylinder vehicle put in here, and if he has 5 people to announce or taking $300, you're talking $15 a week.
You understand?
$1,500 a week. $1,500 a week times 4. That's what? $6,000 tax free.
You understand?
Yeah, entrepreneur.
Understand?
Because I know he ain't put in $1,000 gas in the vehicle, so therefore that is $50,000, $5,000 times 12.
Yeah.
per year. You know, and we was like, why counting Reggie money for? I said, listen to me. I look at these things.
We should.
I look at these things because I like our entrepreneurs. I see Leroy Willett walking around with a camera, walking around like a crazy man with a camera, and was able to move from that to having one of the first fully photography studio, self-contained and with the best and modern technology, and put many of his children through school, etc.
Yeah.
Those are my heroes.
Yeah.
You understand? In terms of what you can do as an entrepreneur.
But Mr. Chesley,
one last one. I look at Jack and Marky as fishermen who are able to take their fish catch and put it on your plate and have one of the best and most successful restaurants, not just in St. Kitts, but in the region. You know, called Spratnet.
Yeah.
That is what you call vertical integration in an MBA program.
Yes.
You know, that is what they teach you when you go to masters and so on. What these guys are doing practically with the experience and the entrepreneurship that they have. So what? We can't teach that?
I was going to ask you if isn't there a saying that your best potential is the people?
That is what I'm saying to you. But we have examples here, but we don't want to encourage them even more. We want to fight them down and say, no, they can't go any better. Prevent them from doing even more. And I'm simply saying this is what we should be encouraging as a society, because these guys are employing people in their community, they are investing in their community, they are from here, and those are the ones we should be encouraging more of, not fighting down, and not giving the so-called foreign investor all the opportunity, all the incentives, and all the concession, and forgetting the local investors who are contributing far more to economic activity than they are.
Don't you think if using some of the examples you used there, Aina, the guys with Spratness and so many others, don't you think if the government saw them as real potential because of their innovative thinking and had form ways of saying, okay, we can ease your tax burden here and make it easier, that they could have reached the point where we could have our own hotel resort or something like that.
And franchising what they're doing. These guys move from just having one establishment to go into franchising.
That's what
I'm supposed to say, how do we franchise Patnet?
Yeah.
How do we franchise this thing? In fact, people have come here, see the strip, and take it elsewhere. Yeah. That is why there's a strip in Anguilla, there's a strip in Montserrat, the avenue in Trinidad, all things are there because people come here, see the strip in service, and take it back to their country.
But we can't see the potential.
No.
We stifle our own, and yet still an entity that is here, that is supposed to be successful as we perceive it, you give them interest and say, no.
Kamala Prasad came here in 2009, saw the strip, and went back to Trinidad and joined her administration from 2010 and things, developed the Avenue. The Avenue in Trinidad now is the biggest entertainment strip in the region. Yeah. Restaurants, nightclub, everything is on the Avenue, Arapita Avenue in Trinidad, because of what she saw here.
Well, let me show you another example. You see this music that we have here that they call wireless? Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of DJs all over the place knocking it and saying, oh, you got to say, this wireless can't go nowhere, this and that. Mr. Chesley Hamilton, over the years in Trinidad and Tobago, listen to all of those old road march, and you realize those old road march were chip, 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 chip. When we started to do the music festival down here, and they came here and they realized we had this up-tempo wireless thing. Remember, they had already been touched with it by Eddie Matt and the GI's brass going over there to Trinidad and Tobago and beating even their best. When they realized that, you know what they did? They adopted it, but they call it power soca.
Okay.
And now it's the biggest thing in Trinidad and Tobago. And we're still here knocking, we're talking about while, mind you, I feel that our musician here should have pushed it a bit further, because what they did after Elimat and so forth and Earth Tones and all them pushing it a certain way, they made it a one chord, two chord, repetitive. Everything is just about sex, and you understand. But if you listen to around the region and you see how they make that creative, listen to this song about this song that we play with the commercial with TDC. One, she say one more, this rude boy thing.
I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper than you, because where you are with melatonin, where you are with Otones and
Grandash and all
Grandash and Elimat, I'm going to go deeper. I'm going back to melatones.
You understand?
Because with melatones and vibrational roots, not small acts,
Oh, yeah.
No roots.
They don't know the history.
Who are playing the world.
That's it.
Because beautiful guy, and I mean his mother was buried yesterday. No, his sister was buried yesterday. In the Ottos. You had Buford playing with small acts. You had Ip and these guys playing with melatones, and they were the ones who they say by them they not play soca. They play music. They're playing. And I used to tell Ip, boy, I go to your dances, and when people start to really dance is when you're playing the
That's it.
when people really start to dance, not when you play nice music, people listening to the music, that drink and
Chip.
when people start to really, and listen to me, when people start to really
walk up,
and that is when you play the and I start to encourage it to play more and more wilders. And therefore, people want to give encouragement, credit to all people.
Yeah.
Even to know small when they say when they say wilders, but it was before them.
It's true.
It was before them. Who was in this music was melatones and vibrational roots.
Yeah.
They are the one who brought this music and bring it until where it is. And we need to know how to harness it.
How to market it.
And how to market it.
Yeah.
Because it has a role to play in putting us out there.
That's it.
Power soca.
I mean,
when
as
a matter of fact, we even have a dance to it, because we remember when and bear with me. You remember when the St. Lucians came to cut the cane?
Yes.
They used to have a little trash bag thing, and that was the wilders dance.
You understand? So when later years I heard people saying, "Oh, listen to Burning Flames and listen to Daddy Friday," and I'm telling you, I've heard Burning Flames back in the day say their influence, and I've heard Daddy Friday say their influence was Elimat and the GI's brass and so forth. So we as a St. Kitts Nevis, we have things that we could push out there.
But Ip went down to the Virgin Islands and played with Eddie and the Movements as well, and took it down there.
Yes.
So therefore, while Jam Band is going one way and Eddie and the Movement going one way, we were the one influencing. There was another guy, I think it's Colonel Richardson, who was playing for one of those bands down there at the time. So we took
Imagination Band that used to come and beat up all those bands for so many years, back to back to back, was fully mainly Kittitians.
And that is my point. But so we were taking the music abroad, but giving others credit for it.
That's it.
And I'm basically saying our entrepreneurs, we do not want to give them credit. I don't even believe that, I might stand corrected, but has Elimat ever been given an Independence Award?
Not as far as I know.
I don't know if he was given
I'm not sure.
Order of Merit or something like that.
I'm not
I might
sure.
be wrong.
Yes, I'm not.
I might have missed it.
Yes.
But I am basically I'm simply saying we have this way of not promoting our own, and it makes me feel bad.
It makes me feel bad too.
It saddens me, because we have a lot of good things that are coming from these areas. I mean, there was a guy from K-On called Suckfish, and when Suckfish started to dance the Wailers, because his father was one of these St. Lucian as well. That is what they had to dance to the music. You know, people in K1 were wearing, not because of style and fashion, because they were not on any runway, but because they were poor and they had water high pants. So they had water high pants and they put on some white socks under the purple lights in the disco and so on. And they were doing that before before Michael Jackson, but we had nobody to brand and market. So I when I see these things becoming trends abroad, I laugh. You remember when poverty was that your pants having patch and hole?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I see people going in the store go buy tear up jeans.
Yeah,
I say, really?
It's in fashion now.
I say, really? Me gonna buy a tear up jeans?
And patches too. You remember when patch was now patches are style.
Patches style? But Chesley's not gonna spend his money to buy tear up jeans. I'm not doing it. So somebody else could buy it. You could get money from me, and that is your thing. You could buy it. My wife could buy it, but I am not buying no jeans because I know where I come from. That is poverty, and that is me poverty.
Well, but you see, Mr. Chesley Hamilton, it shows you where the rich watch the poor, and everything that the poor do,
they market it.
They market it.
If you go wear it, I go sell it. I go sell it to more than you.
Look at saltfish. You see how expensive shellfish is now?
You tell me. You know. You tell me. You know.
You see how expensive sardine is now?
Okay, it's healthy food. It's fish. It's hors d'oeuvres. It's you know.
I remember years ago. I don't know if you remember this, when a bit of news was published that the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, was choked on a bone and so on and so forth. And here people in the Caribbean, what? I don't know the Queen does eat fish. I thought she T-bone steaks and that kind of stuff. But fish is healthy food.
Amen. Amen.
Let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go.
And we're back. The time, 10 minutes moving away from the 11 o'clock hour. I'm going to go back to you, Mr. Chesley. I want you to revisit how you started with the DPP and people in the services are being under investigation and still on the job. And perhaps, as you said, rather than putting people on the major spotlight, doing your investigation quietly, and then when you have firm evidence, then you go and you say, well, okay, we're gonna put you under investigation, but you're gonna have to go on leave now. Recently, I've been hearing a lot bandied about in relation to our, you could say, our top legal individual. That's the AG. And recently, I heard something from a judge. I actually heard it from a judge, sort of reprimanding, the AG in terms of a certain thing that he did, and the judge was saying, but this is not even to say it's once, it's twice or whatnot and whatnot. What do you think about our highest, the individual in the highest office? Because we've spoken about this before, and we saw the part where he was making these statements because someone had, made some statement about his personal life and so on and so forth. My question is, shouldn't we have a concern when the individual at the highest point of our legal representation keeps coming back and back? We keep hearing to where even now a judge is reprimanding that individual.
What the AG is showing you is this. When you have power, you have power. If you have power and you don't use it, you don't have it. And the AG is a good example of, listen to me, if I have the power, I am going to exercise it the way I want to exercise it. Okay? Now, am I going to blame or fault the AG? The AG is human. He going to make mistakes. But you can't say the AG got power and don't exercise it. And I'll put it blunt as that.
Yeah,
okay?
but
the AG has transgressed. But like Trump, you don't see the contrition.
Yes.
I think once he came back under pressure, and I think when he said something in Parliament, and he said, "Watch me," or something like that, and he came back and apologized in Parliament. But there are a number of things circulating around the AG, and the AG has just doubled down.
Yeah.
And am I going to blame the AG? I mean, you have a situation where the Prime Minister's office is under investigation. That couldn't happen under Bradshaw. Bradshaw said there is no investigation in my office. You understand? When we went to Denzel and showed Denzel, listen to me. Denzel, Sam has said this about electoral reform. Having said that, he has, there's the perception of bias. Denzel said, hey, the deputy will serve on this committee and to hell with it. I'm just showing you different ways of doing different things. Now somebody's going to say, oh, the Prime Minister is transparent and he's this, and somebody else going to say, why the man weak? You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm just simply saying to you, there are ways of governing. And I'm going to deal with it politically. Politically. I ain't going to deal with it legally. Politically. Who appoints the person investigated in my office? Me. There is nothing worth of investigation in my office. If the Prime Minister's office is being investigated, that's the one example you could have. The highest office in the land is being under investigation, a close investigation for more than a year. That can't be right. The Prime Minister of the country a duty to the Prime Minister need to move that over there. The investigation, you want to investigate, you investigate for a week and then close the investigation. Yeah, you see Trump, I mean, look at it, in broad light. I shoot somebody back in the head. The president come out and tell you, no, the person weaponized the vehicle and think there is nothing to investigate.
So I'm not
telling you one is right and one is wrong.
Because that
power is exercised.
Because that is where I was going to go.
If you have power, you need to exercise it.
And
what is in the best interest of the country? And what is not?
I want to be clear, Mr. Hamilton, because I listen keenly.
I'm giving you. That's all. I give you both sides. You make up your mind over who is weak and who is strong. You make up your mind over who is right and who is wrong. I'm not going to make up your mind for you. I'm not going to say to you, the AG is wrong or the AG is right. Okay. I am telling you, so the AG exercise power is right. And the people want the AG to do. Because you want the AG to say, listen to me, another AG in another country might have resigned with that claim of ethical impropriety or legal impropriety. Resignation, resign, bam, gone. This AG say, I am staying here, I am doubling down, and I'm going to show you how to exercise power.
So
I'm just showing you again, the two versions.
I want to be clear because I realize why you are such a good legal representative. Because it's almost like you read my mind. Because I'm here listening to you, and I'm asking myself: is Chesley Hamilton saying that when the cop walked in front of the woman's car, so he could use it as an excuse to kill her? And then the president said,
of the United States.
so. If it's a matter of he's right, but you exempted yourself by saying you're not going to determine whether it's right or wrong.
No.
You leave it up to the individual.
You choose and you call it how you call it. You call it spade. If you say no, that can't be fair. That can't be the land of the democracy, the land of the faith. No. I don't want to be nowhere. I don't want to fly.
Okay.
Never mind landing it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to fly it. Okay? Because I don't want to be subjected to that kind of a justice.
Yes.
I don't want it.
And I'm glad you made that statement because I was thinking, so here is it that is Mr. Chesley Hamilton saying if someone investigate the office of the Prime Minister because he has the power, he should just shut it down. But you made sure you broaden it by saying the matter of right or wrong will have to be determined by the people as opposed to me, the individual. So I hear you, but I was a bit concerned there because the fact that I agree with you, the fact that the Prime Minister's office is under investigation is a bad thing for a country.
The Prime Minister, if the Prime Minister had nip it in the bud and said, there's nothing here to investigate, who would they investigate? Right? But he didn't. So it's festering and it's been hanging over the Prime Minister's office for more than a year. That's for the country.
But then if the
Prime Minister's weak, that's a conclusion that you must come to.
Yeah, but if it is,
if you say, well, the Prime Minister has not interfered and transparent, and this is the way that if you want that, if that's the narrative you want, go ahead with it.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm wondering if the suggestion is, it has been, this is the way I keep telling people, the way what is said and what is practiced are two different things.
Oh man, répétez s'il vous plaît.
Okay, because if what you're suggesting is that because it is incriminating and it looks bad for the Prime Minister's office to be under investigation, the question is, if the Prime Minister's office, there's something wrong being done in the Prime Minister's office.
They say something stink at the head, it can stink at
should it be investigated or should it just be curtailed by the Prime Minister by saying there's nothing here to investigate?
You put people in position to make decisions. And if you're going to make a decision, you are the chief problem solver,
Yeah.
You are the chief problem solver. So how you want somebody else to solve your problem? You're supposed to solve the problem. You are the chief, the Prime Minister is the chief problem solver. He said, I hold myself out as a person in this country, the prime problem solver. I'm here to solve the problems of the nation. And you can't solve the problems in your office?
Well, don't you think the best way to solve the problem is to lead by example so that there is no question to whether your office is...
You want me to answer the question? Let me answer it.
Is compromised
it goes with the quality of people you hire in your office.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you don't hire people in your office who can uphold the standards of your office, then you're going to put yourself in a position where you got to be out in fires and solving problems.
That's what I wanted.
You want me
to bring it...
You don't... Whichever... This is what and that is you
I hear you loud and clear. So I think between us both, we have done our job.
Okay. And let people decide which one they want to fall upon. Because, you know, yeah, you want your narrative. And I'm going to go to the word narrative now. The narrative put up in the Prime Minister's office that, we signed an MOU and the people accept Haiti. We're not accepting Haitians.
Why, I tell you.
Look,
almost all the other islands, even though some of their leaders have signed on to it, I've listened to people making comments on almost all the other islands in the region, and they're using our leader as the example.
Wow.
Except Haiti. And
Lord, that pains me.
I mean, they're saying things like, just like you said, like, wow, could you imagine that? That's horrible.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Of all places, except Haitian, because Haitians is part of a national security because of this. And you reach to the point of doing that. Well, how many Haitians did you charge for human trafficking in St. Kitts? How many trials we have out there? St. Kitts is this transshipment point for human trafficking. Where is the evidence? Because you got to be transparent. If that is what you're going to use, then you got to be transparent. Don't hide behind the fact that it's a national security issue, so you can't let me do the details. You know, don't you come and say it's a national security issue? So justify it.
Justify it.
You understand? That cannot. Okay, that shows the humanitarian issues that flow from Haiti.
I mean,
you didn't come and say, well, boy, based on what happened in Jamaica with the Category 5 hurricane, we are going to help assimilate some Jamaicans if that is the case, and help our Jamaican brothers and sisters assimilate if they happen to be sent back. And at this point in time, they cannot take them because the devastation due to the hurricane. No, you didn't say that. So you're not it's not Jamaicans, it's not Haitians. Trinidad is not part of any restrictions right now or suspension for visas and non-immigration visas and immigration visas. So who is it? Bajans? Guyanese with the oil boom and Exxon, do you know? No.
No Guyanese.
So the same people within the OECS, we have free movement. You are saying those are the ones that you're going to accept? Because I know it's not monstrations with the British passport or Anguillians or people from Tortola. So who is it? Who are you accepting as CARICOM nationals?
So then, Mr. Chesley Hamilton, it goes back to a question that you asked. Is the PM weak?
Well, I'm not going to answer the weak question first. I'm going to take it a little further. So are you accepting some rights? Because if CARICOM nationals are coming here to become residents within a year, they can go on the voters list. And you say that the U.S. is paying for everything. So you're getting paid, you're selling residency now to some CARICOM nationals that in a year's time they could affect the margins of an election.
Yeah.
That's where I am taking that narrative, and I want somebody to answer me.
No, but I've seen all of that, and there are a number of us who have seen those parameters, but people, it seems to me, Mr. Hamilton, that we feel, go back to a statement you made, we have no choice. A lot of people feel we have no choice. We have to just accept. But what if our foreparents had said,
they have no choice?
We have no choice.
Well, let me deal with the choice. Let me deal with the issues. Because people like to say, oh, you could criticize. You don't answer the question. What could we do? You got to take some third-party nationals. I did international affairs. Charlie O'Neill Hamilton did advanced international affairs. So all to the U.S., I accept that. I have a memorandum of understanding. But in this memorandum of understanding, you realize I have treaties within the region and elsewhere. So I can't just accept people without going back to my municipal law to amend the treaties that I've signed and amend these things. I'm going to need at least 6 to 9 months to renegotiate those treaties and amend my laws.
Yeah.
So you have to go and renegotiate the OECS treaty, the Treaty of Bastille. You got to go and renegotiate all kind of things. You're going to take that. Me really want the time, you know.
But that's
all is doing is
but
this.
That's diplomacy. But that's
till November when the midterm election.
But that's diplomacy.
But this is it. About till the midterm election because midterm election goes.
You don't have problem
in Washington. Some good money. Some good money again. My I'm going to spend. I might go him to spend this money. But I'm going to take his money to play in Washington now to go up on Capitol Hill. They're going up on Capitol Hill because we need the for this kind of a situation. I bought me time, I go on Capitol Hill, I get the best place in Washington, and whatever, and I my time. I need anything else?
And you could not put it any better than that.
I mean, you see, because
but they had an example with the young guy in Grenada there. They were trying to push this base on him, and what did he do? He said, "Give me time to think about it," and they gave him a deadline, you know.
And what the people of Grenada in the streets, and the people of Grenada in the streets say, "Boy, look, you can see there's no support for it here."
But he didn't give them a year on it, and that base ended up in Tobago.
Amen.
And recently you hear Tobago had an election and it was 15-0.
15-0.
You understand? The people have spoken.
Amen.
Hello.
I can't instance here the policy.
Yeah, hello caller.
Yeah, good morning to you fellas, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the type of discussion that we need right about now. 11-0 coming to St. Stephen soon too, don't worry.
But
yeah, well, Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about a lot of stuff, man, and let me come straight back in St. Stephen right now, internally. What we saw, the revelations we saw since the U.S. went and picked up Maduro, man, is unfolded so fast. This week, last week, man, the issues are just been coming at us rapidly. Quint will tell you, I recommended strengthening up our foreign ministry to deal with that immigration policies in the USA, and then we see where it went. We see where we at right now.
Too little, too late.
CARICOM splintered, and it's falling apart, just like when that West Indies Federation break down. And I'm seeing the big islands making the small islands fend for themselves. We don't have the unity. We need that unity, man. Unity, strength. Quint be always having these discussions, and he talk about negotiations and all this type of stuff. The strength of the leaders. Is our Prime Minister strong? Him being appointed chair of CARICOM, he should not make that statement about Haiti. Man, if you're not going to say something good, just don't say nothing at all. Him being the chair, if he's speaking at this as the chair, should have been advocating to include Haiti.
But you know why? But you know why he did that? You know why he did that? He did that because it's psychology, you know. He did that because everybody feels Haiti you could trample on. You could just say things about Haiti and no one will come to their defense. So he thought he could just throw that out there, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why can't we move differently than even rest of the Caribbean islands, being that we are such a small state? We can't move like the big states now because we don't, the land issue and all that stuff, the population issue, and the influx of these deportees or refugees, whatever you want to call them, if that happens, you know, like, where are we going to put these people? The housing revolution that was promised by this government didn't happen. And now, on the Navy side, we are seeing Mark trying to bring this Destiny project. And internally, what I'm going to point to is that fair share arrangement. And the Prime Minister, he cannot be rolling with the Premier gun-ho. Because on the St. Kitts end, the citizens of St. Kitts in particular has to really pay attention to that, because if the fair share is based on per rata population, and Mark gets to increase that population and Nevis, he's going to have the upper hand too if they maintain power. And they're also fighting for keep power too. They're struggling to hold on to power. They seem so like desperate to hold on to power. But the people got the power in their hand. If they decide to change them, they will. And that pro rata is going to change. And the prime minister, he may not be paying attention to that. And a lot of stuff is going on, man. A lot of stuff is going on.
Look, you know what we
No.
realize? You know what we realize? What a lot of people don't seem to realize? Let's go back to the days when we had the LDCs and the MDCs. You remember those, Mr. Chesley Hamilton?
Yeah.
And when it was touted that oil can't spoil
The Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles.
and blah, blah, blah. But here's what we are seeing now. Because the old saying, when wind blows, you see fowls behind, is showing now. So here's what we are seeing. And me, myself, who is a student of history, it is now clear. All those years ago when Trinidad and Tobago was pushing that they had oil and it couldn't spoil, they were being used by the U.S. Because now we see that even though you have oil, look at all the oil they said they had, and their economy is still nowhere. They're still poor. They're still struggling. And we see the same in Guyana. And so are we going to continue this forward? This is why I say the global hegemony has got to end. If it does not end the way Trump is moving right now, even if he moves out and another president coming somewhere down the line, they're going to revisit this, and we as a people are going to wind up back in servitude. We got to be careful, because what it has shown, you see Guyana now, Guyana ain't on the list. Why? Because Guyana has oil. You understand?
No. Guyana doesn't have oil.
Corporation.
Guyana has Exxon.
Okay, so, well, that is what I'm saying.
No. It ain't oil, you know, because Venezuela has oil, but he didn't have Exxon.
But Mr. Hamilton, that is what I'm saying. That is why I said, with all the oil they said they had, they're still poor. Didn't I say that? So you understand what I'm saying?
Quinn,
Go ahead.
Let me make another point here, Quinn. We gotta technically look at the politics in the United States as well, right? And I always do that and compare it to St. Nevis. Okay, when they had the influx in the southern border of the United States, right? It's kind of like, it looks like that's a democratic thing. If they bring those people in, and I've spoken to a French guy all the way from Senegal. You know what he told me? I've seen him in this town where I live at. He told me that in 6 months he's going to get his working papers, and they're going to be on the path to residency in this country. You know what I mean? And when the people is coming on the south side of the border, it could be looked at as a political move. I'm going to look at it as a political move. Like, Chesney was talking about, people being able to get access to voting later on. If those persons come in on the south border, the Democrats give them, the access, and then they're able to vote, we think they vote for.
But there's no surety.
There.
There is no surety that they're going to vote Democrat.
Okay, I would agree with that.
The majority of the Hispanics, the Hispanics and a lot of these people still vote Republican because they don't want to vote with you. They don't want to vote with you black people. They believe you all are the Democrats, not them.
That may not be like a good example on my part, but the point that I'm even going to agree with you.
The majority of Cubans in Florida don't vote with the Democrats. They vote Republican.
So I'm gonna agree with you with that a little bit, and then what I'm going to just really say is keep it a little bit more simpler and say, like you said earlier, they're going to get to the right to vote. That at least they're going to get the right to vote. So let me keep it there. And then what I would say about that is that it would change. It would have an impact. Then it would have an impact on the political movements, political affairs, whatever. Whether they go one way or the next way, we can't tell, like you said. But at least they will have the access.
Yes.
And it can change the situation on the ground. Meaning, when the people, the overseas voters come home, we would hear the locals say, well, oh, you all come home and you vote and you all influence the election. And then I would just leave it there, So these deportees or refugees coming into St. Nevis, if they're set up, they too definitely can impact an election. And as well as if those people that Mark is trying to bring in from the Navy side, the Destiny Project, if they come in and they get citizenship, then the debate is going to become, I don't know if that's a debate, you can probably clarify that. A citizen is a citizen. If those persons on the Destiny Project come in, if that comes to fruition, and they get that access, what we got to look at is the impact and the effort that these people can make on our local election. You know what I mean?
But, you see, this is where we keep making the mistake. We keep going around in circle like an ostrich. We've discussed these things long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why keep revisiting? This is why politicians will always win, because they come up with something and we pick it up and we run around in circles and we lose the main picture, the main objective. You understand? And this is why, Mr. Hamilton, listen to this. You're a lawyer. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Whenever you're representing a client in court or whatever, you might get heated in your debate and representing the individual. But do you ever lose your control of yourself and your mental ability? Do you ever do that?
You try not to lose that, but that is why, to go back to what you just told Burr, repetition is important. You know, that is why you have to repeat yourself and repeat yourself. You know, around the walls of Jericho 7 times, sometimes you have to repeat yourself.
So you're
before
saying
somebody gets the message. And it takes some time before the message penetrates. It penetrates and reach down to the point where everybody now understand it. It takes some time.
Okay, I hear you, and you're right with that, because that's why we have the bombardment of commercials.
Yes.
But again, what does that say in terms of your people now, that you have to repeating something infinitum for them to grasp it?
Boy, it says, I can't answer that one, but it says a lot. But I know that from politics. You just have to repeat certain things and repeat certain things and repeat certain things. I said it above, and I took it a little further. I said it also influenced the Constitution, because if you move the country's population to a point where Nevis now has 20,000 people, saying it's 40, you now give Nevis,
that is what
1/3 of the population.
That is what,
and therefore they couldn't then make an argument for 1/3 of the seats.
That is what,
because the next move in improving the constituencies is from 11 to 15.
That is what Burl is saying. But here's my point.
I'm glad you brought up that point, because guess what? It's already in conversation already.
Yeah, I put it in conversation. I put it in conversation from the first time we started here.
Yeah.
You know, but we started it here. But we don't get the benefit of
speak a little softer, because you have this big voice and you hear what it's doing to the microphone.
I'm sorry.
But here's my point. My point is this: when you have to, this is where you could lose momentum. We say that our people are how much percentage literacy?
It's a 98.
90 something. So if our people are 90 something percent literate, and you have an issue, and that issue is supposed to go for a certain period, you want it to go for a short period because you want to be able to be productive. You're following me? Okay, so you put this forward. If your people are so literate, and you have to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, when it goes over, let's say you had a deadline for a certain investment or whatever, when you have to repeat it and it passed that deadline, you lose opportunity. That is why I use the example of not having to repeat all the time. But yet still, I agree with you. That is the conundrum we find ourselves in, that we have to repeat too much. But then that says that our people are either not as enlightened as they say they are, or not as intelligent as we say they are, or not as...
Literacy isn't...
And the
literacy is not...
Table,
go ahead.
At that round table session last week, Thursday, when the Prime Minister spoke, he spoke exactly as what Pitt just said. He referenced our literacy rate. He said that he mentioned our principles, the G6. He mentioned like we being a smart people, so we have to start adjusting our thought pattern in terms of this geopolitics. You know, he mentioned these things. I mean, and we got to pay attention, man. We got to come up to the date, up to the time.
You could be literate, you could be numerate. Doesn't mean that you comprehend.
Comprehend, yeah.
Comprehension is different,
That's
and that
why
is
I'm-
why
that is why
sometimes
that's what I'm
repetition
suggesting.
is so important.
Yeah.
You could listen. I play domino with some people, family member of mine. If you write his name, he doesn't know his name. Okay, cannot read. But you put down 20 dominoes and he tell you 42 within seconds.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those people.
Within seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, this man could read dominoes, you know, with 5 cards in your hand, he gonna tell you, you're gonna play one more card. No, one more. And you're gonna end up with the rest in your hand.
And you know what that means? He's following the numbers as they're being played, you know.
Amen. He knows the numbers. I mean, he is that numerate.
Yes.
He's not literate, but he's numerate. And there's some people, they can read, they can read so well, they read with the punctuations, the nuances, the inflection in the voice. Ask them what they just read.
Okay. So then you validated my point. My point is, when we have to keep repeating, it says something about.
But it has a
our
utility.
people. Yes.
It has a utility.
It does.
So, so Quinn, to Chesney Hamilton in comments here, while I try to wrap up and get off. A man get hired for a job, he goes to work, he's gonna be paid $50,000 per year. That's his salary. In the Federation of St. Kitts, you go to work and you get paid to do a job. But I'm seeing our politicians, they get hired, they go to work, and they're looking for more money than they're paid.
Okay, there's another caller. Hello, caller. Let's hear your voice.
Hello, yes, it's me again. I'm listening. I will continue listening.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Burl.
Where is that thought come from that, you know, you get hired for a job and you want to get more money than what you agreed to, you know, accept as a salary? You know, and lastly, I got other stuff to say, but I'm going to probably wrap it up here. Lastly is the judicial system. The common man in the street is getting locked up for picking up a tin of sardine and rams and putting it in his back pocket. But this is alleged situations might arise where we've seen money is moving, and nobody is being held accountable. I'm doing in that type of in relationship to that, and I'll leave it there. How can we find and hold the white-collar criminals accountable? And I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay. That is a question that has been asked from since man began to develop. And I don't think we're going to get it.
I work in the criminal justice system. I'm not encouraging anybody to pilfer. I'm not encouraging anybody to steal. I'm not encouraging anybody to be involved in what they call money laundering, white-collar crime, any of those sort of things. But I just want to let you know, don't point the light on St. Kitts and Nevis and us, and don't look at the first world country.
I agree.
Where they are the ones that started many of this, been doing it, being the robber barons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we read our history books and we call these guys pirates and this and their lord this and duke that and all kind of thing. And all they were doing, in the words of Peter Tosh, is robbing and stealing and murdering and raping in the name of king and country.
Yeah.
And we're reading about them as lord this and duke that. You understand? We're reading about them. They were pirates. They were pirateers on the high seas, hijacking, kidnapping.
Legal pirates.
You understand? In the name of king and country. So until we begin to teach a different narrative in our history, when young people behind 1840 use their brain to do certain things too. Don't think it's all bad. Take the good part about it, retool it, refocus it, and see how we can use it for the benefit of the greater society. Because today, a lot of people's life have been destroyed over marijuana and drug trafficking and all kind of thing in terms of marijuana. And then the same marijuana barons now are coming in as healthcare investors, given a red carpet to come and invest in our medical marijuana industry. And what they're doing, they're doing the same thing that people's life were destroyed over. Yeah. We have people who used to steal what we call Hammond and babush and bushworm. You know, some good chemists, some good distillers, some good manufacturers got no credit. Their life was destroyed. They couldn't even put their children to school, right? Rather than we test and label and allow these people to have developed some of the best cognac and whiskey and rum on our behalf. We got it done with this thing of killing our people, killing, you know. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? We cannot kill our own.
Everything is illegal until they can profit from
until it. They can profit from it.
Yeah.
You know, they're killing our citizenship for investment program. They citizenship for investment program before us. They call it, you know, in Canada you could invest $1 million and get back $200,000 every year for 5 years and get citizenship. They have their own program. Especially if you employ a certain amount of people. These are the sort of programs they have, but they call it tax programs.
Yeah.
We call it citizenship by investment. So take away the citizenship program, take in $1 million from some investor, and give them a tax credit for $200,000 every year, and call it a tax incentive program. It'll be fine. It's no law. And at the end of that, because of your investment, we have extended residency and citizenship for you. You have qualified. Rebrand. Call it something else.
And look what they do. Look what they do. Our governments buy into this every time because we are not unified. They come and almost all of the taxes they're exempt from. Every bit of tax they're exempt from.
And it's not a tax program. It's not a tax program. It's a citizenship program. And don't call it that.
No, but I'm not speaking about just with the citizenship by investment. I'm speaking about when they come to do any form of investment here. Almost they're exempt from almost any tax. And hear what our government says to us. That is so that we can encourage them that if they signed an agreement for X amount of time, when they reach that, they would then go onwards and think. But what do they do?
When they reach that stage, they sell and they come back and they ask for new incentives.
Yeah, and we know what they did, and we encourage that, and we give them tax exemption again. And when they reach the end of that period, they do the same thing again.
They want another tax holiday.
And our government's buy into that.
Or the threat of them leaving. We can't allow them to leave. You know? Right, but we are failing to understand because we don't teach. We believe some people have the monopoly on ideas. Nobody has the monopoly on ideas. We have to come up with a position where both government and opposition share information and make decisions based on information. The government wants to have a monopoly on information, and that is why foreign investors keep wrapping us around our figure, because we only operate on half our intellectual capacity.
Yeah. And not only that, you just said we don't want them to leave, but they leave when they find it convenient to leave.
They will always leave. And many of them come here and they borrow money, and they owe our institution, they owe Skellig, they owe this, they owe water, they owe National Bank, they owe all over. And what do we do?
And then look what they do. Because I can use an example of a place I worked in the industrial site. When they find that in Mexico there's a place where they can take their business from here and put it over there and get cheaper labor, we don't want them to leave, mind you. They exploited us for 10, 20, 30 years. But now they can get cheaper labor. They just up and leave.
And greater access, because that's land access now. They don't need to fly. They don't need sea and air in order to get back the stuff on the mainland.
And you know what I saw a local lawyer do? You're a lawyer. This is why I make the statement that our legal system is ran on illegality, Even though I respect you as a lawyer, I'm not saying you're all the same, but you know what I saw a lawyer do? That lawyer came up, spoke to us as a congregation in that place where where business was done on the industrial side. He was enticed by the business people, the owners, to come and he spoke in glowing terms. I'm not going to call names. He's passed, gone.
And then
his soul rest in peace. And he spoke in such terms because there was a rumor that the company was going to leave. And people started to make noise because people would want their redundancy and blah, blah, blah. This lawyer came and in glowing words ensured everybody that this was not the case. And within a few weeks, bam, everybody's gone. And because I was up in a certain level, right? It's about keeping everything, numb. When I asked the question, I said, but no, this is what is happening. I was told, yeah, this is what is happening, but we don't want them to know, because if they know, it's going to be all hell that's going to break loose. So here's what we did. Not me, myself alone, a few of us. All we did was speak to two girls who worked up in the factory, right, and let them know what was happening. Here's what we said to them. Look, this is just between us, eh? Don't tell nobody. But we know they're chatterbacks, eh? You understand? Don't tell nobody, but this is what the company is planning to do. And in no time, everybody's going to know. And that's how some of the workers were able to get what they were entitled to, And I remember thinking to myself, wow, because this was a lawyer I looked up to, Mr. Chesley Hamilton.
Quinn, legality and illegality is on the same continuum. Let me say it again. Legality and illegality is on the same continuum. You understand?
But at least you're honest enough to say it, yeah.
You just have to know that, listen to me, I am not going to go on that side.
Yeah.
I tell people, I am the coward. Other people is the one that are coward and going to break the law. It's coward why I became the defense counsel.
You understand?
I mean,
I like that.
I'm serious, because I am not brave enough to break the law. If I was brave enough to do that, then that's where I would be. I'd be easily on the other side of the law and comfortably on it. But I am not that brave.
Yeah.
Some people are brave enough to break the law.
Yeah.
I am not one of them.
Yeah.
So I try to walk on the other side of the continuum and stay on the straight and narrow.
But you hear something, those who are usually brave, they come from a history and a family of entitlement. So they don't even look at bravery. They feel that they deserve this. They can just break the law with impunity.
Not justly. I always, if it's one person going to get prosecuted, if it's one person going to get it can be justly. I don't know. Maybe I call it on myself too many times. I was born Friday the 13th of September. And they say in order for some people to be good lucky, somebody got to be bad lucky.
Yeah.
You understand me? So I prepare for the worst, and therefore I try to walk the straight and narrow. I try, I strive, I pray, because I don't want to be on that side of the law. I don't want to be the one who needs a lawyer. Okay. I want to be the one, when you need a lawyer, call me.
Okay.
That's it.
Greg, you want to make a final statement? We're almost up.
Yes. First of all, it's very interesting that Chesley had recommend the movie Walk the Dog, because just last night, okay, I was listening to the Jimmy Dore show, which I kind of regularly listen to, just last night, and he was interviewing Scott Ritter, and Scott Ritter and Jimmy Dore afterwards recommend very highly that same movie just last night. Listening to them, I said, wow, okay. Yes. And I have it on my schedule. As a matter of fact, I have it downloaded to watch as soon as possible.
You sure?
Yes, I have it. Because no, you said today and last night I heard it and the other show on YouTube. Yeah, I've made it a priority to look at it as quickly as possible.
Certainly.
No.
And don't be afraid to come back and report.
No, I won't. I won't be afraid. Once God spare me life, once Jesus spare me life, yes, I will come back and report about it.
Certainly,
yes, I will come back and report about it. Yes.
Wonderful.
Once God spare me life. No, another issue is that concerning the land issue. You see, land issue, the people who have the land is going to be the most prominent in the country when it comes to authority and so on, ruling and so on, the country. And this is why I will always recommend we do things the biblical way and share up the land free to the families of the nation, and that way you increase people net worth and you provide generational wealth. Okay, this is very important, because if this isn't done, yes, there are going to be people who have land, yes, but the best of the land and most of the land are going to be to foreigners. Look at these people who are now coming in, these deportees. Maybe some of them might be refugees, because maybe some of them went to America and a refugee, and probably they are being deported as well. But look at this, for example, these people are coming back. I always been a proponent, advocate of open immigration. But you people must have land, they must own land, so that when foreigners come in, your people don't set up and they meet your people with land.
Amen.
Okay? Another thing again, Chesty Hamilton. Now, I am against the SSZ thing, the way it's want to be set up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you, the principles should be universal. Okay? At least the principles should be universal, rather than a certain place carved out in your country. The principles, at the very least, should be applied to the whole of St. Kitts and Nevis. In other words, the whole of St. Kitts should be the SSZ.
Wow.
Okay?
Just think
I
of
agree
it.
with you with that.
Think of it and think it through, because it would be a blessed day.
Yeah, it would be because Michael, this SSZ thing is not unique. It's all over the world, okay? And what has been shown is that these areas with these kind of principles, free market principles, that sort of stuff, they do better than the rest of the countries that they're in. So if those principles are going to profit those SSZ areas around the world, well, what about when you apply them to the whole country? It's going to uplift the whole country.
All right.
So it should not be for a specific carved out area. It should be for the whole country. The whole country should be the SSZ. You see me so much against the principles, you know. I am against most of all the carving out of a specific area to apply those principles to, rather than the whole federation. I think the principles are moving in the right direction, and I would say that's the biblical direction. I think those principles are moving in the right direction.
Greg, you've gone further than I.
Hello?
You have gone further than me. I said the island of Nevis should be a DSSZ, but you have gone to the whole federation, so you have gone further than me. So I'm letting you know.
Yeah,
But Greg, make it clear when you say for the whole federation, in what capacity, to what extent, and whom are supposed to benefit, as opposed to the way it is right now, where the SSZ is supposed to be some people from external coming, putting down things and exempting our laws and that kind of stuff.
Exempting the local people.
Yeah, so this is where you have to be clear.
When I say it should be for the whole federation, I mean the local people.
Okay, just want you to be sure, you know.
Yeah, not just no foreigners only. It should be for the local people. And if I have to choose, Obviously, I'm going to put the locals in front as to who should benefit most of all, if I was to choose. But it should be for every single body in the federation,
And you
not
see,
just a specific
this is why
people.
Mr. Hamilton, sometimes I tell people when Greg goes and he uses brains apart from the biblical thing, he can be very brilliant.
And Greg is going to tell you he's one of the same. You cannot divide him. He's indivisible.
Divided because what I say is based upon the Bible principles. I recognize these principles are in the direction of the Bible. They're not fully there. Okay, don't get me wrong. They're not fully there, but at least they are in the direction of the Bible. So I cannot be separated, Chris.
I would break away, Mr. Hamilton, but I can't because I see one of my colleagues on the other side doing something that is kind of holding me back right
Take care.
now.
God bless you all.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah. So speak for a while and let's see if we can get this thing finished off so I can break because.
Oh, okay, no problem.
By way of technology, Simeon has moved from one computer to the next, and I can't do anything until he's finished.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I just want to say that when Greg Dow saying things like that and broadening that view, it is a good day because at least certain things are resonating, and I appreciate that. You know, you touch on the 15 zip in Tobago. We came here and we talk about the aligning of policy, CARICOM and otherwise. I have spoken to the refugee situation. I am not one who believes that CARICOM has to be united in its policy. It is quite possible that some of the islands or countries in CARICOM would be part of a non-aligned movement. It is quite say that some of them might vote and support, you know, the United States and the Western Alliance, and some of them may choose to be with other geopolitical stripes. I am simply saying that a lot of people took Petrocarib, oil and gas when Venezuela was good and up. A lot of us even took money for our sugar workers from Venezuela. I didn't hear a strong message from our government saying we are doing 80-90% of our trade with North America, and we have these bonds and ties that goes back to the founder, Alexander Hamilton, who was born here, and we hope to continue those fraternal and other economic ties and closeness of trade with the United States. However, we recognize the fact that in our time of need and want, our sugar workers benefited some 16 million, whether you want to say US or EC dollars, when we close our sugar industry, and that has helped us to transition and be transformative in these times. So therefore, we want to say that we are friends of all and enemies of none, or satellite of none, or any of those kind of things. I hear nothing like that coming from our government.
Yeah.
You could have had a statement which big up the United States. You understand? But make sure it did not marginalize the Venezuelan people. You didn't have to speak about the Venezuelan government, but you could talk about the Venezuelan people and the Bolivarian revolution. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And make it a nice statement like that and put it out there. But no. We don't want to be hypocritical. Hypocrites.
Opportunists.
You don't take Venezuela money when you needed money for our sugar workers. But now you want to say, oh, Maduro was bad. When Maduro was in the square talking, he wasn't bad. He didn't the same Maduro. So what? We take the money launderer of Maduro money and gave it to our sugar workers? Are we money launderers? Did our government try to launder Venezuela money by giving it to our sugar workers? Big question, Quint. If we took money from a drug dealer, Quint, if we took $16 million from a drug dealer, are we money laundering?
Well, you earlier you said you wouldn't answer the question. You would leave it out there for the people to.
I am asking the question, Quint. You don't have to answer it, Quint.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to caution you. You have the right to remain silent. You're not obliged to say anything, Quint. Quint, you're not obliged to say anything. When we took $16 million from Maduro, were we money laundering? Was that money proceeds of crime? We must know what we're saying, you know. I'm only asking questions. We took $16 million from Maduro. Are we being ungrateful? That's all I'm saying.
Our ungratefulness will come back to haunt us.
Are we being ungrateful to Venezuela?
I'm just working on putting in a password here.
Don't worry, you take your time and do the news and get it right.
Yeah.
I know how to fill in. I've had to do this in court. I've had to do this on the political platform. You know, sometimes waiting for another speaker. But I could carry. You're not going to get any dead air. Yeah. You see, that is a major question, Quinn. Mm-hmm. They don't like me when I ask tough questions, eh?
Well, they don't like none of us when we ask the tough questions.
You know, but my mother taught me, Chesley, you must have a reason and a purpose for anything you do. If you don't, I am going to give you one. And you know what giving me one mean? I'm going to get a cut ass. Mm-hmm. My mother always said to me, don't tell me I don't know why I did it. I was following Quint. No, that ain't good enough for her. I must be able to say, Mommy, I thought so and so. Mommy, this is what I believe.
Yeah, go ahead.
And therefore, I am able to say, Mommy, this is why I do so and so. If that is not the case, she's going to be upset with me. So when I think of these things, I think it through. We took $16 million from Maduro. Maduro came just outside there in the square and talked. Did we take proceeds of crime? If Maduro is this big drug dealer, who we glad is being taken and going to be tried, did we take proceeds of crime? Are we laundering? Are we washing money? Nobody can answer me. Our governments are allowed to wash money, but nobody else. Yeah. So if I am representing Maduro in New York and he pay me, proceeds of crime? I am not supposed to take my money and put it in the bank. But we got it done with this stupidness.
Anyway, I'm just gonna go to Simeon because it's not the way I should, but I have to break away. So this is how we're gonna end things for today.
Have a good day. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Have a pleasant New Year. God bless.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life.